Joined now by Chris Horner. He is the author of the Politically Incorrect Guide to Global Warming. Chris, I want to start here. People that are on this special or speak out are always going to be accused of taking money from big oil. How do you respond to that? You're in bed with big oil, they say.
That's generally employed by people who aren't comfortable with the issues or the facts and they want to change the subject. If industry funding corrupts someone's message, however, I suggest the alarmists have an awful lot of explaining to do. They receive an awful lot more in industry and industry-related funding every year, but let's just make the public record is quite clear. We do not receive lots of money from big oil, and for some reason that seems to be the claim that the alarmists want to shift the debate onto, even though they know the truth there too.
So are you saying that the reason why this is such a big deal is because of money? How much money do we spend on research on climate change and global warming compared to, let's say, cancer?
I believe slightly more. Let's just say the same amount on both climate-related activities and the amount we send to the National Cancer Institutes every year, which I think is rather shameful. The administration has done quite a bit right on this issue, but to their discredit, they boast that they spend so much more on global warming issues than they do AIDS. I think that's disgraceful. This is a political issue because it's been politicized, and we wouldn't even be talking about it right now if it weren't for the politicians.
Okay. In the Al Gore movie, he keeps talking about all of these scientists, and there's nothing but consensus, and discredit everybody else that does. How does the IPCC even work? This is the group of thousands of scientists that write this report.
Right, except thousands of people obviously can't write a report. Just think of the impracticalities there. It doesn't happen that way. Here's what happens. They don't conduct science. They review the existing literature. And the thousands of scientists select or emphasize what it is they want to. We've seen this, sometimes disgracefully. However, these scientists are generally assigned 1 page to a page and a half to write with one other author. They're never asked if they agree with anything else, never asked if they agree with the chapter, the underlying work, let alone the summary for policymakers, which is written by bureaucrats and politicians and pressure group lobbyists who are in one room down a hall where the lead authors of the chapters, which are compilations of these page to page and a half writings, and a runner runs back and forth telling the lead authors, the scientists, the pressure group lobbyists want you to change the following to be in harmony with the summary. Remember, this is a document that is produced generally, the summary of which is issued months before the actual underlying work is actually even written. That should tell you something. And this writing process whereby runners subject, very credentialed scientists, many of whom have dropped off, to the humiliation of having to change their underlying work to agree with something politicians want to say, which, like I say, is why many of these so-called world's leading scientists do remain in the process, but many also have dropped off.
Chris, one thing that somebody could Google right now, and you watched the movie and you said, oh, geez, I wish people would just Google this fact. In the movie, Inconvenient Truth, what would be the one fact they should Google?
Well, the cause and effect relationship of CO2 and temperatures. Obviously, temperatures go up throughout history. The scientific literature is fairly clear, fairly uniform. Temperatures go up, then CO2 concentrations go up. CO2 does not drive temperature.
Great. Chris Horner, thanks. Up next, why innovation and not regulation is the real answer on global warming. We'll be back in a minute.
It's time for Skeptic Quiz. Today's question, who is Richard Lindzen? Is he A, the spouse of a comedian, or B,
the Albert P. Sloan Professor of Meteorology at MIT, PhD Harvard, member of the National Academy of Sciences, award-winning fellow at the American Meteorological Society and American Geophysical Union, and former IPCC lead author?
The correct answer is B. Lindzen was also discredited by Lori David. She is best known for being the spouse of a comedian.